it's James with Make Happen Greenhouse, and it's a cool rainy day, although the rain just let up a little bit, but a great day to open up the garage doors and do a little work on some bee stuff. So I've been working on these 4-frame nuke boxes, which you can see in the background there. But another thing I've been working on is a frame jig. So I've seen a frame jig on YouTube, I've seen some advertised on places like Man Lake, but I decided just to make my own out of scrap wood. So that's what I want to show you today. So if you're like me, you probably have a pile of these frame kits laying around where you got to assemble them. When you first get into beekeeping, it's kind of fun to build each one of these little frames, and gives you some ownership of the equipment that you're building. But then you're probably sitting there pounding away, gluing, doing whatever you need to do on these frames, and you start to realize there must be a better way to do a bunch of frames versus one at a time, which is what I was doing. So I just did a quick Google search and realized, yeah, there's definitely different types of jigs that people built and you can buy to help you assemble a bunch of frames at once. So what I did is I just kind of didn't really do a lot of measuring and stuff. I just kind of took a frame and cut some wood just based on the frame size, and built this outer box here. It's got 2 solid sides and then just some spare wood holding it together at the right distance. And what that does is that actually, allows this top bar here to set across there at just the right distance. Let me zoom out here a little. And but the key thing with this jig is you build this inner box, and for me, again, I'm just using spare wood here, so I put some marks on. So you need an inner box, and to save weight, I just decided to do kind of a heavier board here with some much lighter paneling material and just a couple support beams. This isn't going to get a lot of heavy use. I won't do a ton of it, but I can just basically slip this inner kind of holder in place here, and then I put some markings on here so I know this is top, this is the direction it goes, so it fits in there every time. And then what you do is you get this little edge here and here, and so what you can do is you can take your kind of the outer edge or the legs of your frame, and you just start loading them in here. And this happens to be a 14 frame jig, so I can get 14 of these in here. And think about doing these one at a time and how much work that is. So the trick is make sure they're all have the top bar opening at the top. And if you want to do less than 14, you certainly could. But I'll just go ahead and load these up. And there we go. There's 14 on that side. And then you basically just do the same thing on the other side. Now this gets a little tighter, which is fine. And I literally just painted this, so it's really tight right now. Alright, put these in. And we'll get all 14 of these in. I'll try to keep the camera steady. I'm holding it. I shouldn't do that. I need to stand. Oh well. And the nice thing about this, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of jam them in there. And using this lighter material just gives a little bit of flex here. So if you need to, maybe, some of these, lower quality frame kits, maybe the frame material is not perfect. So it gives you a little variability, allows you to adjust. All right, so there we have it. We now have 14 of basically the side rails of the frames in here. And then what I do is get some glue. And I like this Tight Bond 2 here. It's not quite as expensive as the 3. It's not as cheap as the 1. It's just kind of a nice middle ground. And you can just quickly boom, 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 dab all your. I'm just going to do one. Just put a little dab of glue on there, and then get your top bar. Make sure that where you're going to insert the foundation, if you're going to do that, is facing down. And you just kind of, with your hand, whack it in there, and you're good to go. Then what you can do is you nail a nail, nail a nail, and once you have all these loaded, which I'll do here, quick time, is go ahead and put all your nails in, and then you can take this middle box or board out, and then just this whole thing kind of flips over, and then you can do your bottom rails on the other side and just rinse and repeat, and then voila, you got 14 frames ready to go. Last step would be just to insert the foundation, which is pretty quick. So based on my timing, it takes me about the time it used to take to build 4 individual frames one at a time. I could do 14 now. So it just gives you an idea of, you know, if you take a few hours and go ahead and build yourself one of these little cheap jigs, you're going to save a ton of time building out your frames. So hopefully that helps. I'll go ahead and finish these out and show you what it looks like on the other side. What I do is I use these stainless steel trim nails that have the little, they're coated and they have the ribbing on here, and I have seen people use nail guns and other things, but you know, the method I use is just glue it, and 1 nail per side, centered. And that seems to hold it pretty good. So there you have it. Got a little sloppy on my glue. But here you go. Here's a view of the, I should have named it the Frame Jig 1400 or something. Something fun. But I guess just being creative on the markings on top is about all the creativity I'm going to have with this. And here's the nails I'm using. I picked these up at Menards, just so you know. And I'm just nailing away here. So here we go. This is the top bar. So if I was going to mark my frames, I would do it on the bottom bar versus the top bar, because I might have other reasons to mark my top bars. I like to notch top bars when I see, like, you know, queen cells, for example. So if I come back into a hive later for a hive that's building queen cells, oh, I know it's, you know, this one and this one where, you know, the queen cells are at. So I'm careful not to mess them up if they're producing a new queen or something like that. But yeah, so that's what it looks like. There you have it. So let's flip this thing over. So the cool thing is you know, this is just below the top bar right now, and I do notice it's pretty tight with the paint. So we'll see if this actually falls down like it's supposed to. But basically, I should be able just to lift this up, bring all these frames up with it, and then the middle, the box in the middle just would stay down. Again, it's pretty tight. I might have to pull it out of there because I just painted and I was impatient and didn't wait for it to dry fully. So I want to get this done. But you can see here, here we go. Look at that. And you know, just take this and, again, I made it lightweight on purpose. And now we got all our frames here, and we can just quickly flip that over. And now we are ready to do the bottom bars. So easy, easy. So we don't even need to put the middle part of the jig back in for this part because everything's nice and secure. So we'll just run those bottom bars across. Do some glue first. Nail them just like we did the top, and then put the foundations in, and we're done. So this will make your life hopefully a lot easier if you're building a lot of frames. Again, just a dab of glue per, I think, is enough. I should probably be more neat. But the idea is speed. All right, so that's it for the glue. And then I've already pre-counted out 14 of our bottom bars. Now these don't have quite the same, you know, notch because there's no overhang. So you do have to push these edges together. So I just kind of nudge them in as I seat them the first time. But when I come back and nail them, I'll make sure they're nice and, like this one. There we go. Nice and tight. So we don't have any overextended frames that are misshapen. I suppose you could keep the middle part of the jig in, and that might help this process a bit, but I haven't found it to be necessary. And before I painted this jig, I've been using it for a while. Just decided to spruce it up a bit because it had all the oddball wood and stuff. And I was painting those nuke boxes anyway, so I'm like, what the heck? We'll make it an official Carps Bees homemade jig. Again, imagine doing these one at a time. I just have a brick up here, and I don't know what I was doing. It was really slow. Now looking back at all the time I kind of wasted. All right, so let's get our hammer and nails here, and we can put this, set this aside, and go to town. So again, just make sure that the edges are flush. And right in we go. So, doesn't really matter if you do all the way up to the side and then the next, or you want to do one frame back and forth. Probably from a process perspective, it's faster to go this way because you're not zigzagging as much. All right, so this is the finished product, at least without foundation, but did the bottom bars here. They're all glued and in place. Made quick work of that with the hammer and nail. If I had a nail gun, it would have went super fast. Unfortunately, my nail gun is a little electric Stanley job that doesn't do brads that are long enough for this. So I showed you the nails I use. But overall, this makes really fast work of 14 frames created out of, just using the spare wood jig. So I certainly hope this helps you. Little Carps Bee style here for getting some efficient work done. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some foundation in these and we will be done. Nothing attracts bees like the scent of putting pre-waxed foundation in your frames. That's why I actually have the garage door closed right now, because I'll tell you what, if it was open, I would get a lot of company, which is fine. Those are forager bees generally, and they're not usually in a stinging mood, not like when you're at the actual hive. But I can get like 10 bees flying around in there, no problem. And it's funny because the apiary is way in the backyard. This is front yard, so they managed to find their way all the way around the house. Of course they do, right? It's a strong scent. We may still get some in here, even with. It's a little tight. Makes me wonder if that's not the center square. Take another look at that one. So there you have it, 14 frames, quick work, using a frame jig. So I hope this helps you out. Thanks again for watching the videos, and we'll get back out in the apiary soon, and we'll see if we're going to actually pull any honey here this fall, and then we are switching over to treatments after we make that decision. So we're going to do that all in the next week. So a couple videos probably on that coming up. Thanks again. Bye.
There's two.
Let's see if we can get them to fit.
It's beautiful.
And make sure they're not upside down.
Why?
Oh, you know what? I put one over there, so that's why. So how many we got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14,
14. There we go. Our quick and dirty jig to make 14 frames all at once. Hey, Garrett, thanks.
Thanks.
Hey, Garrett, what are you doing?
Helping?
Yeah, what are we building? What are these things called? Frames. We're using a jig to build 14 frames all at once, is that right?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
Yeah.
But you know how to do it now?
Oh, this is not.
There you go.
They didn't.
All right, let me show you what we're gonna do.
Bugs.
Nope, grab, stand on that side. Grab one of those foundations, just one. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Put it in that groove right there. Just put it right in that groove. Perfect, and I'll come over with this. Oh, you know what? We should start in the middle, I think. You know what? Let's start in the middle. It will be easier to work our way. I got the old dandy monster manual. And you can look up all kinds of things. I still have that in the basement.
Yeah, some creatures look kind of vaguely humanoid.
All right, last one.
Is it?
Last one, Sonny boy. Right here.
I can. Using his photo.
Hey, on behalf of myself and the bees here, we just want to say thanks for watching our videos. If you have a chance, please click subscribe. Also, if you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see, go ahead and put it in the comments section. Thanks again.